Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another of my Warhammer 2 tournament videos. We are moving right along through round 1, and I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We have seen Tattoos, Tundra Fox, and Brumac emerge as victors for their rounds, and today we will be looking at the battles between BERETTA and Hairy Hobbit. Welcome to the first battle between Hairy Hobbit and BERETTA, and BERETTA was the one who sent in the replays, so we'll be taking a look at the replays from his point of view, and we will start with his army comp here. He is playing as the Beastmen, and in the front lines he has 4 units of the Ungor Spear Herd with shields. Behind that he's got 3 units of the Gore Herd with shields. He has 2 units of Centaurs with throwing axemen on the flanks. And behind, he's got his best Gore Herd, which is his best melee infantry. We've got a Razor Gore Herd here. We've got a Bray Shaman of Beasts and Morgur the Shadow Gave. But he also has some units that are Vanguard deployed over here. He's got 2 units of basic Centaurs and 2 units of Centaurs with throwing axes. Looking at Hairy Hobbit, he is playing as the Empire, and he's deployed in a very tight formation here, just in front of the hill. He has Volkmar the Grim in the front lines, along with 2 units of Flagellants, actually 3 units of Flagellants, and 1 unit of Sigmar's Son Swordsmen. Right behind that, he has a Steam Tank. He's got 2 units of Handgunners, 2 units of, he's got a Huntsman and a Crossbowman, a Jade Wizard, and right at the back, he's got 2 units of Spearmen and a Knights of the Blazing Sun. And that rounds out the army comps, so let's go ahead and take a look at the battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and it was quite a surprise, I'm thinking, for Hairy Hobbit to probably be planning to take the hill, but then realizing that the Beastmen had beat him there already. So he has formed up here, and he is beginning to volley those Ungor Spearherd with shields there, starting to pepper them down. His Flagellants, of course, in the front lines will be unbreakable because Volkmar the Grim is on the battlefield. Looks like he's also charging in here. He's on his Magic Chariot, so he should do a good amount of damage. Hopefully we'll kind of get the Beastmen to surround that general as well and allow for his gunners and crossbowmen to do the work. But unfortunately, that is not the case because we've got all of this Centaur cavalry here on the flanks, which Hairy Hobbit is now having to deal with. Look at the huge charges into that spearman there with these Centaurs. Also, him having those Centaurs with the throwing axes, I'm assured that they are armor-piercing damage, or they will provide armor-piercing damage, so they should be able to tear down pretty much anything that they come up across. Hairy Hobbit is doing really well, though, in the front lines. It looks like we are going to have some spells cast down here. It's giving, looks like it's giving some extra bonuses to the Gore Herd with shields that are fighting Sigmar's Son in melee. Let's kind of zoom out and take a look at what else is going on here. So unfortunately, it looks like Hairy Hobbit at this point is completely surrounded, but he's done a really good job with his spearmen, having them at the back to protect his missile units, and he's got his Knights of the Blazing Sun here as well. Looks like they are going to try and countercharge the Razor Gore Herd, but unfortunately he is charging through his spearmen ranks, so that will disrupt his formation there. We've got the Steam Tank over here. Unfortunately, it is just chilling. He is trying to hit the Gore Herd with shields there. I would just try and charge them in, or maybe turn around and get a good solid charge in the backs of these units. There we go, though. An excellent Vortex spell being put down by the Jade Wizard, I believe. Well done there. That was a pretty good position. That actually did break the Ungor Spearmen with shields there. Volkmar the Grim with his Flagellants holding against the majority of the infantry of the Beastmen there. However, it looks like we did have a Feral Manticore that was summoned and has charged into the backs of those Flagellants. Doing really well, still trying to tear down these Centaurs with throwing axemen with his handgunners. Getting some good volleys there on the cavalry as BERETTA is microwing in other areas of the battlefield. However, he is just going to turn them around and charge on in, which is probably the best option just to stop those handgunners from firing. Things are looking pretty desperate, but surprisingly, the bounce power is dead even here. We've got 864 for the Beastmen and just over 600 for the Empire. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, those throwing axes are just really shredding a lot of the Empire units from afar, which is frustrating, I'm sure, for Hairy Hobbit. He is peeling back some Flagellants to try and defend his handgunners. The Jade Wizard here still putting down more spells, it looks like. And what's this? We've got some Chaos Spawn. Actually, the Lord of Beast has spawned. Whereabouts is he? Is he engaged in melee here? Yeah, we've got Chaos Spawn. 2 units of them, it looks like. We've got Morgor the Shadow Gave is here. And the Feral Manticore, the Ungor Spearmen with shields are disengaging to go after the Flatulence. In behind the lines again. A lot of this cavalry just doing so much damage to Harry Hobbit's lines. We've also got Centaurs that have broken the handgunners here. The Spearmen are just trying to retreat to a better position as the rest of the units are completely surrounded. The amount of cavalry here is really what I think is going to give Beretta the upper hand and give him the victory here. Just being surrounded so early on has really affected probably the morale of his men. The Steam Tank is holding strong, though, as well as Volkmar the Grim. He is holding strong. We've got the Jade Wizard here trying to get out of melee so that he can probably put some more spells down. Looks like there was a healing spell he was trying to put down, and we have the Feral Manticore that's actually, it's gone berserk. It's out of control right now. We've got a lot of Beastman units that have returned from routing, but I think Beretta is just constantly trying to micro his ranged cavalry here. You can see the Spearmen trying to get back in line, saving Volkmar the Grim, but it is just not to be. Those throwing axes just picking them apart at range. So frustrating, if I could imagine, for poor Harry Hobbit here. And if that isn't enough, more spells being cast down on Sigmar's sons here as they return from routing. And it looks like the Steam Tank and Volkmar the Grim with the Jade Wizard are the only ones still left standing here. We do have a couple of Flatulence, and I mean a couple, 4 Flatulence there, holding strong to the last man. The Razor Gore Herd charging on in here against Volkmar the Grim with his Magic Chariot. He's got plus 24 melee attack on him right now. Steam Tank, it looks like, has that as well. The Jade Wizard actually charging in against some of those Centaurs, just trying to silence them. Another good Vortex being put down on the Beastmen. Well done there to Harry Hobbit. Some really choice of Vortex spells, and a lot of the Beastmen are disengaging here. Beretta, no sense in utilizing his Centaurs with throwing axes in melee when they have so many ranged missiles to still fire. Yeah, just try and pick them apart at a distance. However, he's going to have to do something about Volkmar the Grim and the Steam Tank here, but the balance of power is slipping into the Beastmen's favor. 475 for them, and only 68 Empire forces remaining. We do have some Huntsmen here that have returned from routing, and they managed to break one of the Centaurs with throwing axes. These poor spears have returned again for the 3rd time. The Jade Wizard has just returned as well, but I think the army losses are going to kick in quite soon for the Empire. Volkmar the Grim is looking worse for wear as well, the Steam Tank being the healthiest unit that still stands on the battlefield. And actually, it looks like he's actually battling a Morgor the Shadow Gave directly. However, he is quite healthy. And it looks like we do have a healing spell putting down. I believe that's from the Jade Wizard, possibly, trying to keep Volkmar the Grim alive. But he is losing decisively, fighting against all of this Vestigor Herd in melee. The Razor Gore Herd coming back in as well. It looks like we have a spell possibly being rained down upon him. But I believe that was from the Jade Wizard, actually breaking the Vestigor Herd. Unfortunately, though, we did have Volkmar the Grim falling from his battle chariot. I don't know exactly where he is. I think that's him right there. It's kind of hard to tell amid all the carnage, but surely the Steam Tank will break at this point just due to the army losses. A very close battle, though, considering all that cavalry that Beretta had brought to the battlefield. Only 2 units left on the battlefield, and it is the Jade Wizard and the Steam Tank. But just surrounding the Steam Tank, blobbing it with the remaining forces, should get that morale to possibly slip. Unfortunately, the Jade Wizard also going to be killed here, I believe, on the battlefield. Oh, she's trying to escape. I don't think she's going to get there, though. Yeah, she's probably going to be cut down. Or is she going to escape? I don't know. Looks like she may. A lot of the Beastmen are kind of just ignoring her. Yeah, so she is going to retreat from the battlefield. a very, very lucky woman there. I believe that was a woman. Yeah, looks like it is. And it's only the steam tank remaining, but look at all the damage that it's done to the Beastmen. Only 100 remaining on the battlefield. An extremely close battle here. Down to 84, but Morgr the Shadowgave is, I believe, going to do enough damage to the steam tank to destroy it. I don't know if it's unbreakable. It must be unbreakable. Surely it would have broken by now just due to the army losses. Not 100% sure, but yeah, 81 remaining for the Beastmen, so this is definitely going to be a Pyrrhic victory for Beretta. However, the steam tank is just taking too much damage between the two lords. He's going to try and ride that Bray Shaman of Beasts away. But he needs to kind of keep it in melee so that you can get Morgr into melee against that steam tank, and it is probably 1 or 2 more hits, and I think it will be destroyed. However, will it kill the Bray Shaman of Beasts first? Come on, Morgr. Oh, and we've got some Centaurs that have returned as well. Charging on in. Oh, yes, more Centaurs coming over the hilltop to surround the steam tank. Such a close battle. Well done to Harry Hobbit, especially being surrounded from the very get-go by all of the Beastmen. To bring it down to the wire like this is definitely excellent play. But there we go. The steam tank has exploded, and that is the end of Battle 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at Battle number 2. Alright guys, welcome to the second battle between Harry Hobbit and Beretta, and I'm sure you already have noticed that this is not the battle map that they are supposed to be playing on. I think they misunderstood. This is supposed to be the round 2 battle map, but maybe they thought it was supposed to be the battle 2 battle map. But nevertheless, you guys should enjoy it because you'll be able to see a map that's a little bit different than all the other battles. But there was no complaints about the battle map being the wrong one, so I guess we'll just go ahead and play on through. I mean, the tournament has long since ended anyways, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But yes, so basically a quick rundown on the battle map. You can see we have a very small little watery... it's like a canyon maybe in the center, but it kind of divides the map into 2. So it will give the 2 players kind of a choice as to if they're going to divide their forces between the 2, kind of just sit on either side. And right away, looking at Beretta's force, he has actually got a very small force. He's got some Skink cohort here in the front lines. He's got Saurus warriors with shields, I believe 2 units of them. He has some red-crested skinks, 2 units. A Saurus spear with shields. And then he has a Skink priest with beasts, and 2 Cold One Spear Riders with Krok-Gar. And Krok-Gar is on his big T-Rex there. We've also got the Skink Priest. I believe he's on a Stegodon, from what I can tell. But a very small force, a very elite force. Harry Hobbit, he doesn't have to make the decision of which way he's going to go, because he's playing as Bretonnia, and he's brought 2 units of field trebuchets. So he's going to be able to bombard Beretta from afar, and Beretta's going to have to quickly get his units over and into battle as quickly as possible. We've got 2 spearmen at arms, one on either flank defending the catapults. We've got some peasant mob in the front lines, followed closely behind by some men-at-arms. We have a men-at-arms with polearms, a Grail Relique. I love those units. We'll see that in action for sure on the battlefield. We have a Damsel of Life. Another, we've got a Foot Squire unit, the Beast Slayers of Bastogne. Very cool. And we have Questing Knights and the Companions of Quenelle Questing Knights. Actually has 2 units of Questing Knights and then a Regiment of Renown, so 3 total. And last but not least, the General, we have King Lewin Leoncar on his Great Eagle. So yes, that's pretty much it. Definitely the numbers on the Bretonnian side, but the elite on Beretta's side. So we'll have to see which way it goes. Let's go ahead and get to the battle. Alright guys, welcome to Battle 2 between Beretta and Harry Hobbit, and as you can see, the field trebuchets are already bombarding Beretta's already small force. He really can't afford to be losing all of these units this quickly. If we look at the balance of power, it is dead even, but Harry Hobbit has 500 more men than Beretta at this point. However, huge hitters. We've got the Stegodon here. We've got the T-Rex with Kroq-Gar. He is a very powerful lord, probably top 10 legendary lords, Kroq-Gar. The Red-Crested Skinks also very good. The Saurus Warriors with shields, very solid. It's good that he is focusing the Skink cohort, because that's probably the most trash unit that Beretta has brought to the battlefield. But yeah, the Peasant Mob shouldn't last for too long. I think it's mostly a meat shield. So we'll see what he does here. He is trying to spread out his forces to the best of his abilities. Yeah, going after those Cold One Spear Riders, that is not what you want to be losing this early on. That is some very elite cavalry. Very elite cavalry, but looks like we are charging in as quickly as possible. We've actually got King Lu and Leonkur charging directly into the Skink cohort here. So he is actually the one that gets first blood on the battlefield, aside from the artillery. Here we go, Cold One Spear Riders moving in, still being focused down very heavily. That is not good. Not good at all. There we go, Red-Crested Skinks charging in against the Peasant Mob. Peasant Mob getting annihilated almost immediately here. They were never meant to hold. I think it was just kind of a meat shield to slow them down so that these field trebuchets could continue to fire. We do have the Men-at-Arms now. More staple infantry for Bretonnia moving in. So they will be the secondary line. We've got 3 units of them. We do have some Saurus Warriors with shields that are moving around the flanks. So yeah, he is going to have to do something about that. Hopefully Harry Hobbit will move the Spearmen-at-Arms over to that side, because we do have the Cold One Spear Riders moving over there as well. However, we have the Stegodon just powering on through here. The Questing Knights are countercharging, but unfortunately, the Questing Knights are charging into the backs of their own unit here. So, and I believe that will cause those Peasant Mob to break quite quickly. Yeah, it's not going to have the effect I think that he had wanted. And he is losing those Questing Knights very quickly, fighting Kroq-Gar and the Stegodon. Over here, things are kind of looking a little bit messy. We do have some Red-Crested Skinks kind of just charging in and about the retreating Peasant Mob. We have this unit of Saurus Warriors that's just being moved in to, I assume, attack these pole arms and these Spearmen-at-Arms. Yeah, we've got this other one moving in as well. Oh, no, we're actually flanking around the Men-at-Arms here, so he's going to free up a unit of Skink cohort. We've got, do we have more cavalry in here? We've got the Grail Relique. Let's take a look at that thing. Where is it? The Grail Relique. Where are you? It's somewhere. The Questing Knights are kind of blocking it, so it's hard to see. Grail Relique, where are you? Yeah, you're right here. There you are. There you are. There he is. Such an interesting unit. But we're not going to focus on how the units look. We need to focus on the tactics. So, surprisingly, the balance of power is moving into Harry Hobbit's favor here. We just got an absolute blob here. So many units in this one little area. However, Kroq-Gar is battling King Lu and Leonkur. We've got the Stegodon moving in as well to kind of even the tide, because it looks like Leonkur was doing quite a bit of damage there to Kroq-Gar. However, we have all of the Cold One Spear Riders running down the Damsel of Life. We have some Questing Knights that have been disengaged from this fight to go and challenge them. Over here, it looks like very even. The Saurus Spears with shields going after the Men-at-Arms polearms. Would be good to get those Skink cohort to maybe hit them in the back. Also, you do not want to disengage from these field trebuchets, because they will begin to fire down into this blob once again. We do have some Skink cohort that has returned from routing. King Leonkur is moving back in to hit those Red-Crested Skinks in the back. Questing Knights have broken, but surprisingly, this field trebuchet is untouched, and it has just been allowed to fire this entire battle. So it'll be interesting to see how many kills the catapults do get. But actually, the balance of power is back to even, and I'd say the man count is evening as well. Now that the Questing Knights have returned, a lot of Bretonnian units have returned, in fact. The balance of power... No, it's still dead even. It did slip a bit into Harry Hobbit's favor, but now it is dead even once again. this Stegodon just powering on through the questing knights. Oof. Trying to countercharge there. King Lu and Leonkur really desperately trying to take this Skink Priest down. Where is Krokgar at this point? He is way over here. And these Sora Spears with shields are surrounded by some men-at-arms that return from routing and these pole arms. We've got more units pushing in over here. The Grail Relic is holding strong. King Lu and Leonkur trying to hold his men together. This Stegodon is taking quite a bit of damage. But there we go. Krokgar charging on through, really hitting hard on those questing knights. Field Trebuchet is moving into position as more Bretonnian troops do return to the battlefield. Hopefully all of these units will return as well. Yes, they did. Excellent. So get that over here. Beretta, you want to get those into the Field Trebuchets right away. Let the questing knights charge back in and then deal with that Trebuchet. Very close indeed. 475 versus 558. Yeah, a lot of the Bretonnian infantry is quite depleted at this point. The Sora Spears with shields powering through the men-at-arms, polearms, and hopefully they will be able to get those Field Trebuchets as well. And there we go. Well done. So finally taking out this Trebuchet that has been untouched for the entirety of the battle. And that has neutralized the Bretonnian artillery threat, at least for now. And what is still fighting over here? These Beast Slayers of Bastogne, very powerful unit. Surprised. Usually Bretonnian infantry just break very easily, but that Regiment of Renown just breaking now. So well done there. Beretta over here running down these troops here, which may seem like a waste of time, but what he's trying to do is to make sure that they do not continue to return to the battlefield. So that is quite a valid strategy, trying to shatter them early on. Don't allow this unit to return, though. Don't allow them to get those trebuchets out of there, but I think he really needs these Sora Spears with shields over here. Now the balance of power is starting to move into Beretta's favor. Beretta needs to go over here because it looks like the Field Trebuchets are going to looks like Harry Hobbit is trying to pick them back up. But look at all these units that still could return to the battlefield. These units are not shattered. Lu and Leonkur, he is still very healthy as well. Krokgar is at about half strength, I would say. This Skink Priest of Beasts here, not looking very strong at all. And what else is going on? So he's continued. Yes, so there we go. He has shattered the men-at-arms there. They're not coming back. The Questing Knights have shattered. This unit of Questing Knights is shattered as well. But look at this. The Companions of Quinel has returned from routing. But that unit has shattered. So after that, he needs to turn these units around and try and take all of the artillery out. Look at this. He's not even paying attention as he's forming up his men, trying to rest them. The Field Trebuchets get 2 volleys. 2 volleys there, so Beretta needs to come and deal with this ASAP. It looks like all these Bretonnian units are able to return from routing, though, and I think it looks like Harry Hobbit is kind of forming up for a final stand as such. Balance of power, we've got 370 for Beretta, 254 for Harry Hobbit, so it is not looking good for him, unfortunately. He's almost like just ignoring that the Field Trebuchets even exist. However, because the game has been updated and I am using the older patch, there still may be a couple of things off with this replay. So Beretta or Harry Hobbit, if you are watching, feel free to weigh in if this was actually the case. But nevertheless, it looks like he is going to take care of it with the Cold One Spear Riders finally. And he's making sure that, yeah, those Beast Slayers of Bastogne do not return, and they are shattered, which is excellent. We've got the Companions of Quinel's being drawn back to this very desperate little defense here. So what does Harry Hobbit have left? He's got some Peasant Mob, some Spearmen at Arms, looks like 2 units. Lu and Leonkur, we've got some Men-at-Arms, Polearms, and a Field Trebuchet crew, as well as the Questing Knights. Looking at Beretta, he has Krokgar. He's got some very depleted Skink cohort and Red-Crested Skinks. His Sora Spears with shields, though, quite healthy. He's got his Skink Priest on the Stegodon, and he's got 2 Cold One Spear Riders, very depleted, and another unit of very depleted Saurus Warriors. Now, at this point, they do kind of form up and take quite some time before they decide who is going to move in, so I'm just going to hit fast forward here so that it doesn't take too long. I don't want to make any cuts because this is a tournament, so I want to make sure that, you know, nothing is missing, but it's good that Lewin Leoncoeur is actually rallying a lot of his men so that they aren't wavering, but the morale is looking pretty low for a lot of his units. So I think BERETTA does have this. His morale for his units is quite high, and again, these Saurus Spears with shields, very solid, staple infantry units. I think that if he does charge in, he should be able to just power through. And I think this is where they start to move in, so let's go ahead and put it back to play. We can take a look at it from the Bretonnian standpoint there. Give you a bit of a cinematic as these troops move in. And there we go. Very good by Harry Hobbit pushing in with the Peasant Mob to try and soak up the charge before moving in. But just at the last minute, we've got the Cold One Spear Riders disengaging. So that was a feigned charge there. Spirit with shields holding strong. Get those questing knights around, but I think Krokar just powering through with his huge dinosaur units. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no mercy for these Bretonnians. And we have Lewin Leoncoeur moving in, but Krokar also moving in as well, hitting very hard there. That Great Eagle is quite large, too, compared to the T-Rex. Or it's not even an eagle, it's a griffin, I believe, like an Imperial Griffin. So apologies that I've been calling it an eagle. You guys know what I meant. Yeah, it's either a griffin or I can't remember what other unit the Bretonnians get. They have, like, Pegasus riders, but they also have other riders. I think they are griffins, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's pretty much Lewin Leoncoeur at this point. If we just quickly turn it on, you can see that, yeah, all of his other units have shattered, and it's basically just him versus all of the Lizardmen units. Balance power heavily in favor now of the Lizardmen, and it looks like we do have poor Lewin Leoncoeur breaking in the sight of these 2 massive dinosaurs. He did some damage, though. He did some good damage. But there we go, a Pyrrhic victory for BERETTA. So in 2 battles, BERETTA has secured himself in round 2, and unfortunately Harry Hobbit has been eliminated. So thank you so much, guys, for your battles. I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it as well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.